All right, we're back with another episode of 5 Minute Films and continuing with Demolition Man. Tonight, joined with.
Matt Thomas, Rambo Manium from Studio Red Band. Glad to be back. Thank you very much. And
greetings and salutations once again, fellow YouTubers. Your favorite cybernetic, extraterrestrial, Wildmanbeyond, back on Earth again with another special episode.
And it's great to have Wildman in here. And for this one, we're going to cover the 15 to 20 minute mark of Demolition Man, and a lot to unpack here. Now, at the 15-minute mark of the film, to kick off, we have, right at the 15-minute mark exactly, Bob Gutten's character, Chief Earl. Now, before I get into that, I know Matt mentioned there was a deleted scene or something that we didn't mention before. There was something you mentioned.
Okay, when the graffiti thing comes out of the ground, you hear people talking. They're like, all right, that's it. Food, glorious food. In 12 hours, there'll be another shipment. They're just too predictable. Everything's so neat and orderly. There's really no sport in it anymore. We're not ready friendly. And then you get like a guy using a periscope. I guess like the graffiti is just a way to like sidetrack them so they don't realize that they're spying, like that they're scoping out the area. And he's like, hey guy, it doesn't matter if we're ready or not. We've got nothing to lose except maybe our lives. And they show some interesting images here, which I can't tell what that is. It says, now come on, we've got things to do, people to see, food to steal. And then it goes back to the San Angeles police quarters with this guy named Merwin. I guess that's supposed to be Rob Schneider's character.
Merwin is...
And he's the captain, right? Well, because there's
Troy Evans' character.
Okay, because there's a picture of Merwin, and there's a picture of the captain, and Smithers all in the same place. So
Merwin is.
I guess they took him out.
You know, it's interesting because I'm looking at the cast right here. I guess Rob Schneider is uncredited.
That's funny because he's kind of in the.
No, he's Merwin. Maybe yeah. So I guess the screenplay says Merwin, and they changed it to Irwin, but it is Rob Schneider, and he is uncredited, which I did not know.
Now we got to find that rumor of Arnold Schwarzenegger being one of the villains in the police station.
Oh my God!
And even before, like I said, Bob Gutten's character comes into the scene here. You know, Huxley's character is all excited because there was defacement of public buildings, and then you have a little scene where there's a dialogue between Bob Gutten and Huxley. And Huxley has this piece of dialogue, which I'm going to start using more often. And she says, info assimilated. And then she walks away, calls him, sanctimonious asshole. And then you get the famous, you were fined 1/2 credit for the violation of the verbal morality statute.
That pays off later on.
Which, I have to ask, how far away from that? Where it's like,
Facebook's starting to do it. Facebook's starting to do it now. If you say anything derogatory, 3 strikes, you're out.
Same fucking thing with YouTube.
That's why I've been staying off of YouTube, because now I got a Quest, right? So if my Facebook account gets deactivated, so does my Quest account. So I've been trying to stay off of Facebook so I don't, the last couple of months been pretty fucking crazy. People going crazy over the stupid presidency and the fucking rules, and everyone wants to be an asshole. So now I'm like, okay, you know what? I can't do this Facebook thing right now.
That's why we need a John Spartan in real life. I'll tell you that fucking much.
Yeah, and she even says it under her breath. So it's like, just that thought alone, the concept behind, being fined for, violating the verbal morality statute. I'm like, yeah, this is so, like, you can totally see
Yeah,
this coming into play
it's coming.
because of the, I know this word is overused, but the snowflake mentality.
Yeah.
I don't think it's overused at all because people still use it. It's the truth. It was even used in Cobra Kai, even when Kreese mentioned we're going to melt this snowflake generation.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out that
That's fine. You
We're
melt because the deal, Demolition Man, he's melted out of ice. Because that's a good philosophy there.
we're gonna find out that the 3 seashells was spawned from the toilet paper shortage of 2020.
Yeah, 2020, and we still haven't, like, even the 3 seashells, I think, comes after the 25-minute mark. So, but this is also where we have the introduction of Ben Bratt's character. Now,
Yep.
is there anything maybe Matt can add a little bit to that? Like, is there anything to his character before he comes into the scene here?
Not that I see here. Maybe in the other script. So next time I'll have a better thing about that. But in one of the original versions, he was the main he was like the main character for that time. He was originally the Lenina character in I think version 2. I think the Van Damme version. So probably in the Arnold Schwarzenegger version, that fabled lost version, probably he's the main guy for that one too. But like they really like use his character really good in that script. Here he's kind of like they use him, but not as good as they use them actually in those original scripts. Because he goes like all out. Like you get to see his house, you get to see like like he's on the fence a lot about a lot of things. It's kind of like a buddy cop kind of scenario, and Seagal really gets him into like.
That should have been Benjamin Bratt's character. You know what? They should. I love Sandra Bullock. Can you imagine if Demolition Man was a buddy movie with Stallone and Benjamin Bratt together?
It'd be interesting.
I'd watch that.
Right.
I like Benjamin Bratt. I've always liked Benjamin Bratt. I think he's great.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I remember he was in the show. People forgotten about it. It was called. It kind of took the idea that I want to do. It was for NBC. It was actually called Nasty Boys.
Yeah, Nasty Boy. That was a fucking great show, man.
And check.
Never heard of that one.
Guess who created that show? Dick Wolf, who created Law and Order.
Yeah. And that song, Nasty.
Oh. How can you have a show called Nasty Boys without that song? You just can't.
I remember when the pilot for that show came on. Remember that? Like that whole week they were talking about on Entertainment Tonight was like this show was gonna be huge. Remember? And then that pilot, man, when I saw that pilot, I was hanging with my buddy Cornell was over at my house. We were like young, we were like 12, 13, probably younger than that.
Yeah.
And that fucking pilot just blew me away. They were going after all the fucking ice meth dealers. Great show.
That's kind of like what I want to do with the Nasty Boys I was talking about.
You should do like a sequel to Nasty Boys.
Yeah, I can try that, something like that for sure.
Like a direct sequel. That it's weird because like that's one show that you would have thought would have went further. You know what I mean? Like. That could have been like the next Miami Vice or like the next. That's kind of like
the vibe. That's kind of like the same vibe I had while I was watching. It was kind of like Miami Vice. It was like if you take SWAT and Miami Vice, you get Nasty Boys. That's kind of like the vibe I got from it.
Okay.
A little bit of Narc, the video game.
Yes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard of Nasty Boys, and I was looking at some information, like just looking it up. It only lasted 1 season.
Yeah, really good show. I don't even know if they played all the episodes from the season. I think they only played like a couple, right?
I saw the pilot on YouTube when YouTube was slowly starting. It was like watching a movie, and it also reminded me of elements from The Untouchables a little bit, because they all got together, and one of them gets killed, and they go on this revenge. It's kind of like the same vibe I want to do with my version of Nasty Boys.
And it was back in that time to remember when like pilots were 2-hour movies, season finales were 2-hour movies, season premieres were 2-hour movies, and like they usually would have like mid-season a 2-hour special. Remember, like, fuck man, TV used to be so fucking good.
Yeah. When seasons had, 20 episodes, now a season is 10 episodes.
Yeah.
It's half that.
Yeah. Cobra Kai has 10 episodes, and they're really good.
Yeah. But, yeah, I like Benjamin Bratt as well. I mean, which you wonder, I mean, you kind of look at that character, is that our future? You know, where it's kind of, you're happy-go-lucky, and you're singing about, fucking hot dogs.
Yeah.
It's coming. Fucking coming, man.
Arma hot dogs.
Do you think that new Evil Dead movie is going to be good?
It's funny that this movie was made in Hollywood, because that's exactly how Hollywood is right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's singing Arma hot dogs.
Yeah. Do you think that new Evil Dead movie, there's a new Evil Dead movie coming out in the city in a skyscraper? Kind of like Poltergeist 3. Do you think that's going to be good?
I'll be interesting if they do it. It wouldn't be just like Poltergeist 3. It'll be like Die Hard. It'll be like Ash's Die Hard if they do it right.
Yeah, I've been trying to put together like a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash series based on the
should have done
the
movie. They should have done that. They were planning on doing it, and all of a sudden they pussied out.
Yeah, they were going to film it in Montreal. The same company that did 300, they did that here too. And fuck, I saw a Robert Englund interview where he was talking about working in Montreal on it, and they said that they were going to do it, but they didn't want Ash to win. They wanted Freddy to win, but everybody else, like including Robert Englund and everybody, wanted Ash to win. And like they ended up doing it in the comics. They did 12 issue, technically 13. There's a Friday the 13th one that takes place before that, but they do like a 12 issue run, and it's fucking amazing. They can
still do that movie. They can still do that movie. Ash, Bruce Campbell, he came back for Evil Dead. Kane Hodder, he's still around. Robert Englund, he's still around. They can still do it.
Yeah. Well, Robert Englund's coming back as Freddy in Stranger Things, and they've been doing bids, and I've been watching some of the bids.
Really? As actual Freddy for Stranger Things?
Yeah. I like remember, okay, because the Stranger Things people were the people who originally got the contract for it before they made the version of it that they made, and in that original version, Freddy Krueger was in it.
Oh my God! Oh,
yeah,
how awesome would that be? Is he coming back as Freddy, as dressed up to entertain the kids, or is he actually Freddy Krueger?
He's gonna be Freddy Krueger, but I heard he was gonna be like a new spin on Freddy Krueger, like kind of like New Nightmare, how it was kind of like a new spin on Freddy Krueger.
My God, bring on full! I cannot wait. It's my favorite show of all.
Amazing bids for Freddy, right? Like Miko Hughes has a bid. They have a trailer out for his movie. They have a documentary out for his movie about a sequel to New Nightmare where Freddy comes back from Miko Hughes, and the team that are working on them teamed up with these other teamsters who are doing like the Never Hike Alone Jason movie that has the Tommy Jarvis in it. Like they're teamed up with them, and then there's another team who do like the Haddonfield. They're hooked up with it. But then I saw another guy had a bid for the new Freddy. It had Jason and Pinhead in it, but it was crazy. Like this guy goes to get it on with this chick, and she's like dropping all these clues about Freddy. Like he's like, like, who do you think that is, like the boogeyman? And she's like, no, everybody knows that the boogeyman wears a hat. But she'll like talk in another language, like she'll throw him off of the trail, and then when they get together, you think that she's gonna be haunted by Freddy in this situation, but she's really like, she's really the one who's flipping the table on the guy. So like, she goes like he gives her a bunch of drugs and she's doing a bunch of drugs. She's like, okay, then you gotta like stay up and fuck me all night long, right? So he goes to go down on her, and all of a sudden Freddy comes right out of her vagina. Like,
oh my god, that's funny because you remember the scene in Nightmare on Elm Street where Nancy is in the bathtub and he comes between her legs. That's a good. Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you hear about that Friday the 13th fan film bringing back Tina from Part 7 New Blood, Roseblood?
Is that the one connected to Never Hike Alone?
I'm not sure, but I saw Lar Park Lincoln is coming back as Tina. It's gonna be. I heard the story is gonna be like Aliens, so it's gonna be like with Ripley, but it's gonna be with Tina from Part 7 New Blood. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Man, that's gonna be cool. I know she's in Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, because like
her back for that.
Because what happens is the first half. Like, okay, there's like the movie Freddy vs. Jason, right? And then it was going to go into this mini arc side story that had to deal with the camp after the events of the movie, before the events of the new movie, where Jason is kind of like this ghost figure around the camp, and it takes place going into winter, and then that goes into Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, which takes place around Christmas time, and that basically is, like Freddy coming back and hatching this plan with the Necronomicon, but he's like totally a different version of Freddy. Like, he's Freddy, but he's darker. Like, he's like that Wolf Freddy version that you see at the end of Freddy vs. Jason. But he's crazy. Like, the girl has the book and she's trying to escape the book, and he's like, give me that book or I'm gonna gut you from bitch box to whore hole. He's like a really badass Freddy, and like, Ash calls him Hash Brown all the time. But anyway, so in the duology half of that, the second arc of that, they have a thing where Freddy starts taking on Washington, or like he's found this way of becoming eternal, which doesn't really make sense because he's already eternal, But what happens is at the end, all the surviving members from all the Evil Dead, from all the movies, from Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, and everything, everybody who lived through those movies comes back, and they take on Freddy. But then at the end, there's spoilers, everyone. There's a mega showdown where all the victims of all the people they killed come back. So Nancy comes back, Tina comes back. Like, all the side art characters come back, and it's like a mega throwdown, between all the universes, past, present, future, and the alive and dead. And it would have been an amazing movie.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've been trying to do something on that, so I've been doing research, and I found this Evil Dead thing where they were talking about the real story behind what happened at that cabin, about this girl whose family died, and they were trying to find the girl, and a week after they finished shooting, the cabin burnt down, and it was like this really eerie story. I'll try to put that out for you guys. I'm sorry to wane off of.
No, but thanks for okay. Let's go back to Demolition Man, but thanks for sharing.
Are you good? No, but Benjamin Bratt walks into Huxley's office, and that's where you kind of notice, like, in Huxley's office, you see a poster of Lethal Weapon 3 on the wall. And what I also noticed, too, there was a Batman and Joker action figure on, like, the stand, like a stand in the back.
Oh, nice.
So I guess some other Warner Brothers properties. And you get the sense that, Huxley's character's into action. I mean, she has that piece of dialogue, what I wouldn't give for some action.
And it's true because you look at the action genre has totally gone to shit now with these superhero movies. It's kind of relevant, because what you see as action heroes nowadays, just superheroes. There's no difference. Action hero is a superhero. Bull fucking shit. There's a difference between action heroes and superheroes. Action heroes are human. despite the fact that they go through situations that's over the top, that they look like they're superhuman. But you have superheroes. You have them played by from aliens or from superhuman, but you have action heroes. You have them played by police officers or military, especially cops, because cops get a lot of rap nowadays with all this bullshit going on. They're racist and all that. There was more to cops than being racist. Especially back then, cops were seen as superheroes or the action heroes. With Miami Vice and Cobra.
Yeah, well, I was getting ready to say too, because you look at the little nods to what you see in her office, and if you think about it, we're kind of, because now what is the hot thing? Nostalgia.
Yeah,
exactly.
And people long for that type of thing.
Crazy about nostalgia. I'm sorry.
I gotta say that.
I know you're good.
I just gotta throw in that this movie nailed so many things from this last year. Like, how many years ago? 1993. It nailed 2020. Like, almost everything in that movie is going on now. Or like the inventions, the iPhone, the screen. Like,
of course, the virtual sex. We got the Oculus. The VR.
You got VR porn, so to an extent, or lack thereof.
All I gotta say is the technology behind that VR adult stuff is so interesting, because you could tell that you could make a really good fucking movie with that tech. Like the holographic technology. You could like literally start making movies where you could put the audience in the movie, and like it's like when like after 5 minutes when you have the headset on, you don't really feel it anymore. It feels like you're going on for that adventure. Like I started working on a fan development for a Tango and Cash sequel, right? Where it would be about this film company who follows these two cops out for a day in the life, right? But it was going to be filmed exactly like that, like the VR porn holographics. I
had an idea of something like you have a found footage, but instead of horror, you do action. That would be good for a Tango and Cash movie.
Yeah, I was thinking like that would be a great like a 24-hour, like a day in the life, like a 24-hour, kind of thing where like the audience could either be in the movie through the cam, or the audience could be in the movie through the camera operator, and it would be like real life, like all around you would be like real life, but it would be like a
They did that with this movie. They kind of did that with this one movie. You remember that movie, End of Watch?
I heard about it, I never saw it though.
That was
a good movie.
That was pretty good. Jake Gyllenhaal, and they had something like that in that movie.
But I thought that would be cool, like that would be a cool way to bring Tango and Cash back, like make them have to do this stupid thing where they have to go out and do this stupid thing and they don't want to do it, but like the main takeaway from it would be that you would get that small talk between Kurt Russell and Stallone. Like Sly would be reading his newspaper, like, look at this, or just like stupid little things that they like we all seen how the movie ended, but it'd be cool to see how their partnership evolved in ways, like how they act with each other every day. Like if you were a fly on the wall, what would you see them do together? So I thought that was really cool.
You know what? Speaking of Tango and Cash, speaking in Cobra Kai, how many people dug that whole Tango and Cash reference in Cobra Kai when Johnny says Tango and Cash were narcotics detectives?
Yeah, I caught that.
Or in season 2 where it
kind of goes back. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say in season 2 where the girl wants to go on a play date with the other girl, and the girl's like, "No, sorry, I gotta go to Hawk's house. He wants me to watch this movie called Over the Top."
A lot of Stallone references, but it kind of goes back to what you were saying. That's why I like to speak to this director. I mean, where did he go? Why can't we? Like, it seems like this is the one film he did, and he disappeared, and you're wondering, like, how did he come with these ideas? Was the director Marco Brambilla a time traveler? Because certainly he was definitely ahead of his time when you look at certain elements in this movie, especially the character of Huxley and her love for the past. Like, that's happening right now. There's this pulse on nostalgia, and everything. Everybody's hot for it. Everybody's hot for, watching old movies and bringing old properties back and collecting. And it's cool to be pretty much, I mean, nowadays it's cool to be the geek. And
yeah, it's kind of cool to be retro. It's kind of retro, yeah. Because before that, a lot of people, because a lot of kids around that age were kind of shit on nostalgia. Now, thanks to stuff like Stranger Things and of course Cobra Kai, a lot of young kids are looking at even music now. If you listen to some of the music, it had that 80s synthesizer. A lot of kids now are saying, "Wait a minute, maybe this is not as bad as some people as I thought it was."
Did you guys see? Like, I know you're down in Chicago, right? Did you see that big Chicago Return of the Pumpkin synthesizer album, that 20 double album, 20-track album that just came out?
No, but I remember that John Carpenter came into town. He was doing something with his music. He did a concert with his music.
If you get a chance to see that concert, go. Like, we tried to do a deal with him through a Fantasia thing for Horror-thon, because we got to work with the Horror-thon people here, and we actually contacted John Carpenter, and John Carpenter said he would come here and do it and play a show, and we even got a venue for him, and the venue said, if you get me John Carpenter, I'll give you the venue for free. So we contacted John Carpenter, and John Carpenter himself said he would do it, but we had to pay the freight for him to come down and do it, right? And then magically somehow, then the funds became unavailable, so we didn't end up getting him. But he did actually end up coming to Montreal the next year, so we ended up going to see him in Montreal. And wow, I have such I already liked him. I was a late bloomer getting into John Carpenter. I liked things that he had done, but it was mostly things I never studied or anything. And then seeing him perform, it really gave me a new appreciation for him. And then I started looking into his side stuff, and he's got all these series that he wrote, that only came out in comics, like the Thing sequels and the Escape from New York sequels, and all these sequels to all these movies that he made, but he did them in comics. And I would like to maybe one day do. He can
still do them in video games, because I heard he's a big video game freak. He kind of did it with the Thing, so why not? He was trying to do an Escape from New York, a Snake Plissken game. I would love to see him re-greenlit that. No, he can still tell stories, but not just the movie. He can even tell stories with the streaming platform. Because since they did with Cobra Kai, I can see him do something with that.
Mm-hmm. He was just a really nice guy.
He is my favorite filmmaker of all time. Ever since I know he's known for Halloween, but when I saw Escape from New York for the first time, it impacted me. With Weimer Williams, it was oh my god,
man.
Oh, by the way, you know that GalaxyCon thing I'm involved with? You know that GalaxyCon where you have a virtual Q&A? I was able. They did a Hocus Pocus Q&A, and I got to talk with. I did one-on-one Q&A with one of my crushes, Vanessa Shaw. I showed you guys the video, right?
I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. John Carpenter's going to do one. He's going to do one on January 19th. He's going to do a virtual GalaxyCon. I will definitely come do a one-on-one with him for sure.
That'd be cool.
We should try to get him, because he is open to talk. Like he talked to us, right? He talked to my friend first, then he talked to me. He's pretty approachable.
Yeah, because he ain't doing shit. He's got nothing to do, so why not?
Man.
He's not doing nothing. He's like, well, I'm not doing shit. He even said, I had this dream where I can get paid and not do shit, so why not?
Well, he's done enough. I mean, he's done contributed a lot to the industry.
Yeah, I would like to one day maybe do a John Carpenter series of just all the movies that we didn't get that showed up in other mediums.
We'll join you do that, I'll join you, because that guy is my favorite filmmaker of all time. He really inspired me. I can't wait to talk to him.
But getting back to the scenes now, this is kind of where Simon is going into the hearing, and they wheel him in on that thing, and they're starting to read him some of the dialogue. Starting to read. 29 years ago, the parole system as you know it was rendered obsolete. And he started speaking Spanish, which I think, was that ad-libbed, or maybe that he started speaking. I read somewhere, I don't know where I read it, but like apparently he started responding back in Spanish, and they threw that in the movie because they thought it was funny.
I could see that, but the gist I get from this is going back before where we had that other scene with Wesley when they revive him and he's starting to talk all the mumbo jumbo. Maybe that was him registering all the things he has in his head now. Like maybe that was a
part of the program.
Now he can talk different languages, and he's got all these advanced, because you notice like when he starts to fight, he's kind of like surprised.
Yeah, that he has moves.
Yeah.
And, I mean, long story short there, he breaks out, beats up some guards, and, Simon says, die.
Yeah.
And what's interesting here, he takes out the warden. Of course, you got the scene where he takes out his eye with a pen, and it's a cool, practical eyeball. And it kind of goes back to the station where all these computers and stuff are going off, that there's, MDKs, murder, death, kills. And then this is around where you see Bill Cobb's character, Zachary Lamb.
Great actor.
And what's interesting is the computer gives conditions of the guards, murder, death, kill, what have you. And something that I noticed with the warden, it says he dies, and this is what it says in the movie. He dies via severe eye trauma, ruptured spleen, punctured lung, broken rib, internal bleeding, vital signs failing. And that's where, kind of at the 20-minute mark there, but I'm wondering, because the warden got kind of knocked around a little bit, but it wasn't too, like, of course he got his eye taken out, but I have to wonder there, was there more to Phoenix taking out the warden for him to endure ruptured spleen, punctured lung, broken rib?
And these scenes going back here, let me see here. I don't know if you can see this, but the warden is in a fucking pool of blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that goes. Remember last time how we were saying like, it was kind of like a turning point in the movie that Wesley was so intimidating in that first scene, and then kind of by the time you get to him fighting the cops, he's kind of cookie cutter throughout the rest of the movie. This kind of backs that up. Like, it feels like if they would have went that other way, that darker way, maybe he would have been more menacing and intimidating. Because they kind of make him feel like, I don't, what's the word? They kind of make him not like a joke, but like they kind of take away from like the badness of him. Because even remember the other deleted scene we talked about with his eyes, where he has the two different color eyes because of all the drugs he's taking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's weird. It's a weird, like, I noticed that when I saw the movie in the theater too. It was like he was very menacing, and then as soon as he gets to that scene with the cops where he's beating up the cops, he kind of goes to like a almost like a soft version of what you would expect a mastermind, like evil, all-powerful villain like that to be. Because they could have played it off like, they could have made him really cold, you know what I'm saying? Like they could have really played with that contrast of how the future is and how they're really, like, if they think Spartan's bad, you know, this is a whole other level.
And that's kind of what you're referring to when you get to the kiosk scene, and that's around the 20-minute mark. But you see where he has this voice in his head, don't you have a job to do? And he's kind of like shaking it off, like he's got cobwebs in his head. And it's like he's half programmed and half the same old Simon Phoenix. But it's interesting because, again, I don't know if something more was there to the Warden's comeuppance where, again, he got a ruptured spleen, a punctured lung, a broken rib, internal bleeding. Because if you look at the movie, if you go back, he just got knocked around. But also, too.
Well, here they kind of show him get his neck all fucked up. And they don't show the eye coming out, but they lead to the eye, and then they cut away. And then it goes through all that other stuff we just talked about. And then when you show up again, it's after he's killed him. Yeah. But it's very gruesome in the back. Like, it's very...
So it's more gruesome in the comic, I guess?
Yeah.
And it says right here, also, I don't know, because I found this in IMDb, that there were some violent scenes within his breakout that they cut down or removed completely. For an example, there's a scene where he rips out the Warden Smithers' eye. Wait, let me backtrack on that. Okay, near the end where he kills several people inside of the cryo prison with a machine gun, and a scene where he kills the guy from which he took the car after escaping the cryo prison. So, and that's between, like, after, I think there's a scene like after the breakout where he kills a coroner. I don't know if you've heard that before, or a character that we don't see.
I think they did mention something like that. A coroner got killed, but they didn't show it. I think I do recall that.
They show a lot of shots of Smithers dead, and he's just like on the ground. His body is all fucking twisted up. They show many shots of that.
Because there's one character like in a parking area that Simon, after he broke out, this is outside the police station, that there's a murder, death, kill outside on the sidewalk or something.
Yeah. I just had this thought.
I don't know. Maybe I'm spitballing here.
Sly's going back into DC again to do Suicide Squad, right? He's going to be in Suicide Squad, which is just fucking horrible. But wouldn't it be cool if, now that all the legal stuff is done with Demolition Man, because DC got the contract to do this, right? Wouldn't it be cool if DC did Demolition Man? Do you think that would work?
Awesome. It's going back to John Carpenter. Can you imagine if John Carpenter did Demolition Man?
Oh, I can imagine. Fucking bring in James Woods.
They're like an animated sequel. There you go.
Russell.
If you could do a sequel, make an animated sequel.
Yes, that's the way how you can do it nowadays with nostalgia. If the characters are too old, you can do like something animated, like they can do like with that RoboCop. If they want to do a RoboCop versus Terminator, they can do an animated movie.
They can just deep fake younger versions. Even though I hated having to watch Aquaman yesterday, I have to admit the deep fake in there looked fucking amazing with Nicole Kidman and the guy who plays his dad. That the deep fake in there was fucking beautiful.
I was very impressed what they did with Michael Douglas for Ant-Man. That goes to tell you they can do an Ant-Man prequel with Michael Douglas. Because Michael Douglas was huge in the '80s. I mean, can you imagine if they did an Ant-Man movie back in the '80s with Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
Can you think about it, man?
Yeah.
But I mean, that'd be cool. But as far as that's kind of all I've got for the 15 to 20 minute mark. I mean, it's mostly, again, Simon's breakout and just that one thing with the Warden that kind of had me question because, I don't know, I thought maybe there was more there. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just spitballing a little bit, but that's kind of all I got for that part.
You never know. Can we talk about the video games of Demolition Man? Did anybody play the video games?
No, we can talk about that real quick. No, I never played the Demolition Man video game.
I played the one for both Genesis and Super Nintendo, but there was this other one. There was a 3D game where Stallone actually played John Spartan. Yeah, it was a first person shooter, and Stallone was in it, and you have a fight with Simon Phoenix. It was really good. I remember when the movie was coming out, they talked about it on Entertainment Tonight.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw that on AVGN. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, I never played it. I mean, I've read about it, being that
it was very well done. I thought they did a good job capturing the movie.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of information on that, kind of going through other information about Demolition Man. But yeah, I mean, do you guys want to wrap up for this part?
I'm just waiting for I'm just waiting for Matt to come back and see what he wants.
Yeah, Matt walked away for a second.
You guys can wrap up.
What's that?
You guys can wrap up. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can wrap up this part. But yeah, that was the 15 to 20 minute mark of Demolition Man. And we covered a few scenes. But that's all we have for now. And we'll be back for the next part, which is the 20 to 25 minute mark.
All right. See you in sauce.